Okay, this video is to show you all how to organize your gradebook. This has to be done at the beginning of the semester, or preferably before the semester starts, so that the student knows exactly what their grade is at any given point in the semester. And that'll help us with retention. So I just want to make a note that you don't do this once and it gets carried over. That's not the way it works with Moodle. You actually have to set your gradebook up every semester, even if it's the same course. Every semester the gradebook gets wiped out. That's just a Moodle Rooms rule, okay? So these are categories, the ones with the folders and the two arrows. That's where your weights go. You notice there's no items under discussion, assignments, homework, and then they're just floating here. So you're going to want to select, I'm going to do discussions first. I want to dump all the discussions into the category discussion forums. So I need to go one by one, making sure I just select discussions. Even if they're gray, it doesn't matter. Even if you're not using them, you still need to have your gradebook organized. Because then the student sees a mess on their end, and that just gives us a bad look. So I'm grabbing all the discussions, whether I'm using them or not. And it looks like I'm close to being done. Yep, no more discussions. So I'm going down here, it says move selected items to, and I want to put them in the category discussion forums. And you hit continue. Now all my discussions are in the discussion forum category. So I need to set my weight here. Let's say this is 25%. Okay. And I always have to go to the bottom when I make a change and hit Save Changes. Then hit Continue. Now you could do numerous number changes and then go hit Save, but I just did that one. Now, the items, if you're not using them, so it looks like this professor's not using 1-to-1 till 3.3 because they're gray. That means they're hidden. So these should be changed to zeros if you're not using them. If there's a 1, you're telling the gradebook, the Joule gradebook, that you want these weighted at 25%, but since you're not using them, they need a 0. And then the ones you're using, so it looks like 4-to-1 to 5-to-3 are being used, those take a 1.0 to activate them so that the Joule gradebook knows to weight these 4.1, 4.2, 3, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 at a weight of 25%. Okay, so that needs to get done. Now, if you don't know what you're using, you could change the zeros and 1.0s weekly. That's fine. But if you know something already has been done and it's being graded, you want to make sure that there's a 1.0 so it gets weighed at the 25% and the students see their actual grade at any given moment. Okay, it is their right. Now you're going to do the same thing for the rest of the categories. If you're not using a category, let's say you don't have assignments, you just keep it at 0. Okay. Now, if there are assignments down here, but you're just not using that category, again, you would still keep the assignments at 0. So let's just do a couple more. We're going to do assignments now. So I'm going to grab all the assignments. You have to be very careful just to grab what you're looking for so that it's not in the category. If you make a mistake, then you go into that category and you move it out. And you go to the bottom and it will ask you where you want it to be moved. So let's say you put a quiz in the assignment category. You're going to go click on the quiz that's moved to the assignment category and then go to the bottom and hit Move to Quizzes. Okay. Once you do this once, you'll get the hang of it. Just have to remember all the rules, the 1.0s, the zeros, the weights. Okay, so it looks like up to there is assignments. Let's just double check. Any more assignments? Nope. So move selected items to assignments. Hit continue. Now all my assignments are in this category. So again, looks like these are being used, so that's correct. Professor has the 1.0s, but these don't look like they're being used, or they may be hidden in the classroom. Whatever it may be, if you're using it and you're grading it, you need a 1.0. If you're not, it takes a 0, so you have to work on that. And again, you could do it week by week. Every item here has to be in a category. You shouldn't have anything floating. All these lessons and assignment calendars, e-text, any of that stuff, we should be moved to a category called non-graded items. Your orientation is going to go into non-graded orientation items, okay? If you have a hybrid course and you want to add a category, okay, let's say in-class labs, you would just click there. You would put in-class labs there. You'd make sure that it was a value. Make sure the maximum grade, usually it's 100, and you hit Save Changes. Just going to cancel out of that. And again, if you have a hybrid course or you have your online course, whatever it may be, you may want to add an item, okay, that's not on there. Because you're creating if you create an assignment and you forget to add it to the gradebook, you need to go back into the settings in the Moodle Classroom and make sure that you select that it be graded and it have 100 maximum grade or whatever it may be. If some of you I know use 15, 20, I've even seen 30 points instead of the 100, that's fine. But again, going back to my example about a hybrid class, let's say we created the in-class lab category and then you want to name something, I don't know, grasshopper dissection, you would put it there and then you would make sure to drag it into the, let's say, if you created that in-class lab work, you would click there and it would move into the lab category. We just put the item name there. So this is pretty simple. If you're not using a category, let's say I'm using discussion and assignment, I always want to move those to the bottom. You grab the arrow and you move them to the bottom because you want it to line up with your, not sure what happened there. I'm going to just cancel out of that. You're going to want to move it to the bottom. Try that again. Huh. Just say something. Oh, I see. It's because of these. Okay. It's because those are out of category. That's why it wasn't working. So I'm going to want to put it right at the end of the last category. So right here. And again, all those pieces need to be categorized. And let's say I'm using assignments, so I want to drag it to right after the last category, which is right here, because we just put our discussions, right? So then we put assignments under. The ones we're not using, let's say we're not using homework, quizzes, and essay, the best thing to do so that the students don't see it in their gradebook. Okay, so let's say these were all zeros, and remember when you change something like this, you have to go to the bottom and hit save, even with your 1.0s and your zeros to activate the different items. So, okay, we're not using homework and quizzes, let's say. You're going to want to hide these from the student. You'll still see them in your gradebook, but the student, when they're looking at their grades, won't have to be bothered with these categories and wondering, wait a minute, we never did homework, we never did quizzes, why is this even in my gradebook? So you're going to want to hide the whole category, and I can show it again. Let's say you make a mistake, you just hit show, turns green again, made a mistake, let's say, hit show, and you're good. But again, you want to hide the category, not the items. So if this had 1,000,000 items underneath it, like homework 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't need to do each one. You just hide the category, and then it wipes it out. From the student view, you will still see it. Okay. So this is a quick tutorial on how to organize your gradebook. I'm happy to help anyone. You just have to make an appointment. You all have our email address. It's onlinelearning@essex.edu. You could shoot us an email and we'll work something out with your schedule, and we can sit down and do this one-on-one. But I think this video may clear some things up, and hopefully everyone will have their gradebook up and running as soon as possible, because students are asking for grades, and again, it's really important to have a working gradebook, whether you're using it or not. I know some of you keep your own gradebook, but still the students need to know at any given moment what their grade is in the class. So the Joule gradebook, you know, is where everything needs to be organized so that the students can have a clear view, because when they're going in, they're actually seeing this view. So imagine this student sees no grades because this gradebook is not set up, so they have no idea what their grade is. Okay, and again, they shouldn't have to see all these categories if they're not being used, so please hide them. Hey, hope this helps, and again, any questions, just reach out. Thanks.